I love meat in my mouth. Anyways, we're gonna be reacting to Mel Kipers' mock draft 1.0. Saw the YouTube video. The entire thing's on ESPN, so I was just gonna think about just dicking around and looking at it. Anyways, let's join me for that. Okay, so we have Mel Kipers. Sorry, I'm still eating the salami I had and that thing. So here we go. Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall. Again, no-brainer pick. I think this is probably the most surefire pick you'll get. Literally every single mock draft has Mendoza going number 1 for a good reason. Frames there, like I said yesterday, frames there, accuracy's there, leadership's there. Not a crazy athlete, but I think that I don't know. I like it. Yeah, you can join Cam Newton and Joe Shiesty for being the undefeated leading undefeated teams and winning a national championship to being the first overall pick. Love Fernando Mendoza. I think this is a great pick for the Raiders. Just going over Reese. I had this. I think I took Bane last mock draft, but I've had this in prior mock drafts where Albert Reese going second. You can either go in either way. I think if I had to choose one, I would choose Bane right now. I feel like Albert Reese is a little too raw for what the Jets want, but honestly, you can't go for wrong with either. Albert Reese has been stellar this year. Bane, I think, has that slight edge though because of the playoff run. I think if it wasn't for the playoff run, I would have Reese over Bane. But I think these are like 1A, 1B type edge rushers. Like these guys are just it's not terrible, right? There's a big drop off for edge rushing later down in this class, but the top 3 guys are really good: David Bailey, Reese, and Bane. So I like this pick regardless. The Cardinals take Francis Maui-Noah. Again, these 3 is basically exactly what I would do, and literally like 50 or 60% of the time. Only the other 40%, right, is just taking Bane instead of Reese, which is fine. I don't hate this pick. This is where it gets a little weird though. I like Maui-Noah here. Obviously, need a tackle. And no, would love to here. Since Beachum is a free agent, and they just need an upgrade from Beachum. I think Maui-Noah is that good update. David Bailey going to Titans, which I can honestly see too, but I think I would rather have Bane than Bailey because Bailey has those off the field character issues. Bane is a more surefire pick. The production has been a little better than Bailey. Bailey, you're not sure if he's a 3-down linebacker or three down lineman, right? Versus Bane, who is a surefire three down lineman. He's probably the most safe three down lineman. That's why he's going so high, because this edge class isn't that great. So obviously with Saleh, new coach Robert Saleh, right? You would want someone who is a little more defensive side of the ball, because Saleh did so well in San Francisco and even in New York too, to an extent. With his picks, he turned Sauce Gardner and Quincy Williams were playing the best football of their career with Robert Saleh. So I think taking him here is not a terrible pick, but I would rather have them going Bane. Giants take Carl Tate. I also don't really love this pick either now. More than I'm looking for it. Honestly, I know people aren't high as Mekhi Lemon because you see him more as a slot guy, and that's not as valued as much as others. But I think taking Lemon or Tyson here instead would be better. But I think, honestly, I really like the idea of Delane. I'm not a huge fan of Delane's arm and physical abilities, but like his football IQ is off the charts, and he's produced where he's gone, Virginia Tech and LSU. So I'd like a corner here because that corner room is also very depleted. Like if you resign Wan'Dale Robinson, or if you don't let him walk and go somewhere else and take like Alec Pierce, you don't really need Carnell Tate, and I think that's the direction they'll go. Or they'll take Downs. I really like the idea of Downs too. You don't see safeties go that high, but if someone like Downs, I think you definitely go 5. And I really like Downs here. I think Carnell Tate's a little more than what you want, but I think taking Tate here isn't a terrible pick. But I'm not as high as other people are. Spencer Fano going 6th, perfect. Literally, there's no there's free agents. Yeah, both tackles, Cam Robinson and Jack Conklin are both free agents. So I really like this pick too. There's no real certainty if you're going to resign those guys, and even if you do, I think Fano is a bigger step, and he just produced in college. I think he'll be good. He's good at run blocking, so I think taking him here and a not so pass heavy offense is pretty good, especially Todd Monken, who had some good days with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So I think taking him here is not a terrible pick. The Commanders take Ruben Bain. So honestly, this mock draft is probably how I'll do it. But instead of David Bailey going 4, he'll go 7. Instead of Bain going 7, he'll go 4. Like, this is not a terrible mock draft. I really like this. I really like Mel Kiper as an analyst too, because I think he's very surefire. And again, he's always on the draft boards and stuff. But I really like Mel Kiper mock drafts usually. I like him more than Daniel Jeremiah. So I really like Mel Kiper more. This is kind of a sidetrack, but I think taking Bain here is honestly a great pick for the Commanders if he falls. I can see him falling too, because there's the measurables are not that great, and even the bend isn't that great either. So I think taking Ruben Bain here is a solid option. He's producing in the playoff level too, so I like this pick. The Saints take Jordan Tyson, their new surefire wide receiver 1, in my opinion. There's this. I don't think there's should be rumors of Chris Olave. I wouldn't trade him if I was the Saints. I mean, you can very much well see it happen, but I think if you have Olave and Tyson, that's really good. That's another. I think. Olave is playing on a contract here, right? So if he plays very well, you're gonna extend him. And I think just Chuck needs more help. I know I'm basically reading the analysis, but Chuck needs more help. So why don't you get the wide receiver 2? Maybe that turn to wide receiver 1. Obviously, there's the injury issues, but I think taking Jordan Tyson here isn't a bad option either, because again, Olave is going to be gone. And playing on a contract here, so you don't know if we're going to extend him. So I think taking especially how injury prone he's been his entire career too. There's been seasons where he missed, and it's kind of crazy to think that like he still produces with how many injuries he's had. You can also say the same thing with Jordan Tyson. He's missed a lot with injuries. So do you want 2 injury prone wide receivers, which really gets a little food for thought? But I think the production on the field is great. It's just got to hope these guys stay healthy, because they're very good on the field. Cheap shit, Jeremiah Love, another easy pick. I don't really need to talk about this much. Kareem Hunt and Pacheco should not be your Super Bowl winning running back thing. I think taking Jeremiah Love here is perfect. And this is a very, very rare Chiefs top 10 pick. So I think taking Love here would be perfect. Bengals take Downs. Again, love this pick. If Downs fall to the Bengals, I think they're snagging up immediately. He's a great tackler, very violent, plays very good. He's a leader. He would change the Cincinnati Bengals defense if they keep him around. And I think I can see him being a Bengal. So I think I love Downs here. Keldrick Folk to the Dolphins. I think it's a little impulsive. I'm not as high on Keldrick Folk as some other people. He's young. He's about to turn 21. But I think taking Delane here is a much bigger need than Keldrick Folk. I know you're not sure about Bradley Chubb, but I don't know. I just don't think he said McCoy makes sense, and I think McCoy or Delane makes sense here. Yeah, they traded Jalen Phillips, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, you might keep him, but I think taking Chop Robinson here, like, if you look at their depth chart, right? The Dolphins' depth chart. I feel like, even if you get rid of Bradley Chubb, I think Chop Robinson is good enough to the point where you can get rid of that pass rush and maybe get a deeper edge rush pass rusher. Keldrick Folk is very raw in terms of pass rushing. So, yes, Folk has crazy power, and he's a very solid run defender. The pass rushing is to be desired, and I don't think that's worth taking him in a top 15 pick, let alone 11. So I think taking a McCoy here with the corner room is looking way worse. Honestly, Jack Jones and Jason Marshall Jr., I'm not very moved by this corner room. So I think taking Delane or McCoy here, I wouldn't really be nitpicky on which one, would make more sense to me than anything else. The Cowboys taking Sonny Styles. Yeah, he's also saying McCoy here. I could also see McCoy going here, but Sonny Styles, again, I love this pick for the Cowboys. Surefire tackler. He's probably one of my favorite on the board. Surefire tackler. Doesn't miss many tackles. He's been great in Ohio State, so I think taking Sonny Styles here is a great pick, and don't really got to think too much into it. Jamal McCoy going to the Titans. Whoa. I'm thinking Tennessee. Jamal McCoy going to the Rams. This is also where I would like to see Mekhi Lemon. I feel like if Mekhi Lemon falls to 13, that would be awesome, because, again, like I said, you would like to play. You would like to, get rid of Devontae Adams when he's a little older, right? He's playing on a contract here, Devontae Adams. I think taking Mekhi Lemon, having him behind Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams playing in the slot is not a terrible decision. Obviously, Jamal McCoy is a big need. The the corners aren't moving, right? But I think that you can, how well they played in the playoffs, I wouldn't really worry about that. Yeah, maybe you can take a D'Angelo Pons later in the draft, like or I don't know, someone else. Like this corner class is very deep, right? It's deeper than like majority of the position groups. I think taking Makai Lemon, because you don't see many Makai Lemons in your life. I think taking Makai Lemon here would be perfect. He's like number 1 on my big board. Like I love him. I think he'll be amazing in the NFL. But I'm not a huge fan of taking Jamal McCoy here. But you know, it's not the end all be all. They could be taking a tackle, and I would have had a much more worse time talking about that. So McCoy here isn't the worst. Makai Lemon going to the Ravens. I also don't like this pick. I think the Ravens also have had too many small receivers. I think taking an edge here, like if you would have had Keldrick Folkfall, or even with some of these other guys on the board, even Hakeem Messer is a reach though. He's like 26. That's the problem. I would have maybe had instead of Makai Lemon, I would have had Peter Woods, because I know you like Zay Flowers, right? But I think he's good enough to the point where you don't even take Makai Lemon. Obviously, I love Makai Lemon, but I feel like they need a bigger wide receiver. So even if they were going to take wide receiver here, I would honestly prefer Denzel Boston, because he's a bigger guy. It's not the same type of receiver as the other guys. Lamar can't be throwing to these like 5'11" guys. I'm not saying 5'11" short, but like in terms of Denzel Boston, who's 6'4", 220. You would enjoy a Denzel Boston more. Lamar will have a little more fun, where you throw the ball a little higher, where you can catch it at the catch point, because Denzel Boston's elite at the catch point. So I think taking a high catch point receiver is a little more higher on the board than another slot shifty guy like Zay Flowers, or even Bateman. Like it's a very redundant pick to me. And I honestly, this is like the worst case for the Ravens. I know it's a generational guy, but this is the worst case for the Ravens. I think taking Peter Woods or Boston here would make more sense. Kansas City going to the Bucks. I don't have a slot in my mock drafts, but I don't hate this pick either. Kadon, again, it's on a contract here. You could lose Mike Evans and Kadon. So I think getting another wide receiver, or another receiving threat, not even a wide receiver, getting another receiving threat would be amazing. To pair up with Emeka Bupa. But so I think taking Kansas City here is honestly not a terrible pick. I don't hate it as much as other people do. Jets going Ty Simpson. Not a huge fan of this either. I think if you can get someone a little better, or just get a bridge quarterback like Kyler Murray, would be a little better in my opinion. I think Ty Simpson at 16 is a giga reach in my opinion. There's a lot of issues with his deep accuracy, his accuracy in general, and just how he plays in big games. I know it's Indiana, but he didn't play good at all. Didn't like him. I was there. I was in there in person. He did not play good. In the middle of like the game, people were asking, where did Ty Simpson go? Did he get benched? That's how bad he was playing. So we were questioning if he got benched. Not if he was injured. He got benched. I think he was injured. I think it was a rib injury or something. I looked it up. I think it was a rib injury. And even Mel Kiper has concerns, which weren't good. He didn't look that good in some of these games, but like I said, his pocket presence is good, and he's not the most athletic, but he can get around, right? So I don't really hate this, but this is definitely a weak quarterback class. I think Ty Simpson here is a bit of a reach in my opinion. 21 is also a little bit of a reach, but it's the Steelers who really need this. I feel like the Jets can honestly work with what they got. And obviously, I'm not saying that QB room is stellar, right? Justin Fields is QB1, right? I don't think so at all. But I think taking Ty Simpson here is a giga reach, in my opinion. The Lions take Big Ione. Yeah, I guess. I would honestly like to see Tate Ratledge flesh out a little bit, but I would honestly like to see Monroe Freeland go here. I love Monroe Freeland to the Lions. He doesn't have to start immediately. He's a giant physical beast. He can learn behind Decker, or even if he retires, he can learn behind Sewell, and they can move Sewell around. I like them more than Vega, but I do really like Vega a lot too. He's in my top 10 big boards. My in off the dome big board, but yeah, it's not like the best pick for me. I think you'd either like corner, because there's a lot of corners that are being that are hitting free agency for the Lions, and I think taking corner here would be a little better than taking a guard, in my opinion. Maybe you can. Well, Vega would play left guard, but I don't know. I think taking Freeling will be a little better in my opinion, and then Tate Ratledge, maybe take a guard later in the rounds, because there's some older guards you can get. I think that'll work better, or even an edge rusher too. Maybe TJ Parker here would work, and a corner, Rock Hudson, DJ Reed. Kirby Joseph is very injury prone. Terry on Island has been okay. He's not what you thought you were getting, and Branch got hurt too. So like, it's not been like the greatest cornerback room. So I think taking corner here, or even rusher or tackle is much better than reaching for a guard like Vega. I'm not saying reaching, because Vega honestly is not really a reach wherever he goes, like in the top through 10 to 25, which I see him go through. I do think there's bigger needs in my opinion. The Vikings land Minnesota lane. If he lands, this is a perfect pick for the Vikings. I just don't think he will. I think they'll end up getting someone like an A-round draw. But I think taking Delane here, who has great ball skills, great during press coverage, very very fundamentally sound, is really good. It's just the physicals that mess him up a little bit. But he was very good in college. So I think taking Flores, getting a new weapon would be awesome. The Panthers taking CJ Allen. I don't hate this either. I would maybe like an edge rusher. Again, like I'm very high on TJ Parker. I think TJ Parker would be very good in the NFL. But CJ Allen isn't the worst pick in the world. But yeah, I don't hate this. I've seen a lot of this. I don't hate it. Yeah, Rosenbroom's a free agent, so you could use help at linebacker. So I don't hate this pick either. Akeem Mesidor gets a little iffy though. Let me turn on the light. I'll be right back. Let me light this John up. Okay, we got Mesidor going to the Cowboys. Not in love with this. Mesidor, if he was maybe 22, he would be like a top pick. But the problem is he's 25, and when he gets at the end of his rookie scale deal, he'll be like 29. If they pick up a 50-year option, 30, that's the problem. He's been very good on the field. He is literally like people didn't even know who this kid was until the playoff run. I'm not gonna say myself included because I did have some. I didn't know how this Miami defense played because I was keeping a close eye on them during the college football like rises and falls, but I think he really started to like be like, oh yeah, he started getting first round buzz in the playoff round. I think he was maybe like a day 3, day 2 guy, but now he was really getting first round buzz now. So, I don't hate this pick. He's more of he's very good. Honestly, he's very good. It's just I find a little bit of a reach. I would see him maybe go to like the Patriots or something, who would like to take rusher here. Yeah, I'm taking Cassius Howell, but you would like to take rusher here, but for the production, honestly, I can maybe look past it because I'm not a huge hater of this pick, or a huge hater of Akeem Mesidor. I feel like 20 is a tad bit too early for a 25-year-old, but again, if the production is there, people aren't going to be like, oh yeah, like if production is there and he's actually producing, and he sits there, and people are not going to be like, oh yeah, this guy's terrible. Why'd you take him at 25? Like no one's gonna be saying that. They're gonna be saying, oh my god, the Cowboys are genius. They took Mesidor 20th overall, and he's become a top 5 edge rusher. Like no one's gonna really like mention him being 25. So if this is a good pick, no one's gonna notice. If it isn't, then people are really gonna know. Pittsburgh taking Denzel Boston. I'm okay with that too. I would maybe like a quarterback here. Obviously Ty Simpson is available in this scenario, but I think taking Denzel Boston here isn't a terrible pick. Very good at the catch point. I've loved his tape recently, so I think taking Denzel Boston here isn't a terrible pick. Peter Wood's going to the Chargers. I would have honestly reached for Proctor or Pregnon, in my personal opinion. I know Tier Tart is going, but I think you can take a better defensive tackle like someone else. Like I know Lee Hunter is getting like first round buzz right now, but you could probably get like a Christian Miller or even Caleb Banks in the second round. I've heard he's had a terrible Senior Bowl. And I think taking like a Caleb Banks later, who has a small sample size, but when he's out there, he's fine and has lingering issues. I think that's a better replacement than Tier Tart, based on how bad this offensive line play. Like you literally cannot like this guard position, like the offensive lineman class, for how big it is, or not big, but like how much the gap. It's not even worth it to wait. Like honestly, I think taking Pregnon here or even Proctor and moving him to interior offensive line is just so much better than taking Peter Woods here as a tier top. I really like Peter Woods, but I think taking him here is a little crazy. And I'm not a huge fan of that pick either. Avion Terrell going to Philadelphia, that'd be awesome. You can play on the boundary. I know DeJean will play in the slot, but I think he can play boundary too. So I wouldn't really worry about that. People are saying, oh, he's a nickel. He can play boundary too. He said that he can play boundary. I'm not really worried about that. Zachariah Branch going to Cleveland. I'm not a gigantic fan of this either. I think Zachariah Branch is not a first round talent. I think he's maybe a day 2 guy, possibly even day 3 if I'm really being harsh. I think he is getting like second and third round buzz. I don't hate that, but I think taking him 24th overall is a little too crazy. If Casey Conception's on the board and the wide receivers are falling the way it has right now, I would prefer Casey Conception. Yes, there's drop problems with Casey Conception, but I find him a little more safer than Zachariah Branch. yeah, I don't know. He's a little. I think Casey Conception's 5'9", but he's 195. But he moves better, and yeah, obviously he's much faster. But I think that the shifty way and how the Browns really need a true number one guy. I think Casey Conception can be that versus Zachary Branch, who feels like more like a slot wide receiver, like Wanda Robinson type of guy. He can't be the number one, but he's damn good when he's the number two, number three. And this team, I think, needs a number one to build off of. So I think taking Casey Conception here is a little better. Keenan McDonald going to the Bears. Again, another hard-nosed run stopper. I love him going to the Bears. The Bears really struggled with the run game. I think this was surefire, their run game. And the offense doesn't really need much help. So I think taking Keenan McDonald here is perfect. So I think he would be pretty good for how they're taking. Chris Brazzell. I've also been watching tape. I'm not a huge Chris Brazzell fan, but he's big. Like he's not like the regular Tennessee wide receivers, right? He isn't the fast guy who will bring you on the top like Jalen Hyatt or I don't know who's been another guy who went to Tennessee that's burned. I don't know. Jalen Hyatt is a perfect example. He's not gonna be like a Jalen Hyatt, right? He's gonna be a little more catchy, right? I don't hate this pick. I honestly don't hate this pick. It's a shifty, catchy guy who's good at the catch point, who's also sneaky good with his route running. So I honestly I don't hate Chris Brazzell going here. If it was talking about like a different team, like with the Steelers or something, I thought it was like a giga reach. But Chris Brazzell here for the Bills, who need a wide receiver one, they're gonna have to start reaching. So I don't hate this. I think Casey Conception will work a little better though. I think he's still here, so I think taking him here would be a little better. But it is what it is. Caleb Loman going to the 49ers. If he's available, 100% should take him. Love this guy. I think he's a physical beast again, but some technical issues. So I think taking him here is perfect to learn behind that offensive line, who is literally probably has one of the best left tackles in NFL history. So I think taking him here is perfect. Caden Proctor going to the Texans, obviously perfect. He has him going offensive tackle or guard. I think he's going to be turned to a guard. They need guard. The guard was getting just butt fucked against that Patriots defense. So it wasn't really on CJ Stroud. He has that mental timer. He has that Baker Mayfield mental timer where he knows he's gonna get hit. He just has to get it out, and it just causes him to sloppy footwork and stuff. So it's not really on CJ Stroud in my personal opinion. But taking Proctor here isn't a terrible pick, and I actually like this. Monroe Fielding going to the Rams. I also love this pick too for them. If he falls, perfect, take him. I would have liked a corner in this draft, but I would have liked maybe a wide receiver in the draft. Maybe again Casey Conception. I know I'm glazing the fuck out of him right now, but Casey Conception would have been perfect here. I'm gonna get a Caleb Banks pick in a second. I don't hate this pick. Again, he doesn't have to start immediately. He can maybe play behind the offensive tackles who haven't been playing that bad this playoff run. Before they lost. So honestly, I think taking Monroe Fielding here is a little bit of like an interesting season, but I think taking him here is not the worst pick in the world. Caleb Banks, he's had a terrible Senior Bowl. I think this was made a little bit before the Senior Bowl though. This is made 9 days ago, so I'm not gonna hold this too much against him. But right now, 9 days later, I will be saying I'm not taking Caleb Banks. I'm taking Christian Miller or who's available. Christian Miller or even Lee Hunter. Lee Hunter's getting first round buzz. Caleb Banks has been getting put on his ass a lot, and he's looked very bad in camps. And if you want to be a first round pick, you're gonna have to play good in these camps. So he's not really playing that good. So I think taking someone else here would be better. Cassius Howell, there's again problem. He's old. I would honestly like TJ Parker. He has not gone yet. Let me see. Let me just make sure, just in case I'm not capital dementia. But taking Cassius Howell here, I would honestly love TJ Parker more. He's more of a surefire. Prospect to me. He's more of a 3-down linebacker. He's been good. Production hasn't been good this year, but I'm not going to run the production last year. It was very good last year. So I think taking TJ Parker here is a little better than Cassius Howell. I think Cassius Howell, the measurables aren't there. He's more of a speed rusher. You don't know if he's playing a 3-down placement. But right now, after Senior Bowl, I'm a little more confident in TJ Parker because the edge class isn't that great. And Brent is going to from South Carolina going to Seattle. South Carolina to Seattle. That's like kind of a tongue twister. But anyways, he says he could have gone TJ Parker to push pass rush, but I think again too many people going to free agency. I think they're gonna get rid of Wolin or Job. So I think taking Cisse here, who's a physical demon, who's very fast and very good at doing coverage. A little problem with his physicality, but I think I like this too. We see what McDonald did with Marlon Humphrey, so I think Brandon Cisse can hopefully follow in the footsteps and get coached by a great defense. So I think taking him here would be amazing. And this is just about Jimmy Butler. Sucks, but just about dreaming about it. Let me go on the big screen quickly. Yeah, that's about it. Honestly, in my opinion, not a terrible mock draft. This is obviously pre-senior bowl, so I think with what he knows, was pretty good. I don't hate this. I know I've definitely seen way worse from other people. So, thanks for watching. As always, make sure to hit a like, subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Maybe talk about Jesse Minter. I would actually really like to do that. Talk about Jesse Minter tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow.